Hello friends, welcome to my channel Tech Developer. In my last video, we have learned how we can create a REST APIs or a post request using the Spring Boot application. So now in this video, I will show you how you can validate your request body or a post request so that it doesn't create any problem or how you can handle it. There are several ways. So before going to start with the validation part, let me show you that what can be happen if you do not validate your request body. So start the application, go to run as a Spring Boot app. So as you can see, the server has been started. Let's see that how much data we have in our database. So our database tables are empty, and now go to the Postman and just use the last request that we were using just to create the skills. So I have using the Android skill using I am hitting the API using the Postman, and so you can see the status has been run. Just so as you can see that I have requested the post call using the Postman to our Spring Boot application to create the skills, and you can see that the Android skill has been created. Let's check inside the database. So you can see that the skill ID and skill name is provided. So the Android skill that we have added here, so it has been added here. So now you can see, and let's check that in the skill form you can see that I have not validated this request, so that in this way a nullability or empty string or blank string name or a skill name if I send, then it will definitely accept. But let's check to the skills. Java means a entity. So inside the entity, you are saying the null label should be false. Means the value should be provided. Let me do something that suppose if I pass the string as a null, means I do not provide any name. What will be happen? It will create an exception saying that data integrity violation exception. Definitely, because we have already said in the constraint of entities that skill name should be provided, means nullable should be false. So that's why if we are trying to save the request without validating the form data, it will definitely create problem for us. So for eliminating this kind of problem, what we need to do, we need to validate our request body, that is a skill form. There are two ways. For generally as you use that you use to validate the skill form in the service layer by checking the nullability and empty string, so that it will return the uh, request that the name is not provided or something else, the message you want to give. But what Spring says that, or what I think, that service layer should not be responsible for these kind of stuff. Service layer should be responsible for only managing the service or using the database connectivity. So there is a Spring provided validation framework or a way to validate or request body, so that these kind of problem can be uh, already handled in a much simpler way. So what you need to do is, for that, you need to handle the nullability for your string, means a skill name here, using the not null annotation. So you need to add the 8 not null, and the not null should be of the validation constraint, not of the sun I stack. Remember that. And after that, inside this you have three attributes, and so regarding this attribute, let me tell you that message will be the attribute. Means, suppose if I give the nullable value to the skill name, what the validation message you need to pass to the client side. So let's say I need to give the message to the user. If the user pass skill as a null, skill name as a null, then I need to send him a message that skill name cannot be null. So we will just write the message here that skill cannot be null. So instead of doing the hard code, which is already a bad practice, so what I am trying to use it here, a string constant or a class which will contain all the constants related to the validation message. So let's create a class for that. Give the name as a validation messages, and make the class as a final, because we do not want to extend this class, and the private constructor, because all the things will be uh, static and final here, so we do not need any object for that. So for protecting this class, so we having the some object outside, let's create a private constructor, and after that just use the public static final string skill name cannot be null. The key I am giving here is skill dot name dot not dot null dot required. Uh, let's copy this and paste it in the validation message en properties. If you are new to my channel, then you have to see all my previous video or proper to-do application series to understand what I am going to do. So if you are already a new to my channel, please subscribe this, and please don't forget to press the bell icon and watch all my videos so that everything gets clear to your mind. So here we are using we are saying the skill name dot not null dot required. Then I need to give a message that skill name cannot be null. Okay, so I have provided it here. Now inside the message, what we need to do, I need to use the constant the skill name cannot be null. Now the two attributes are left, that is, one is a group and one is a payload. We do not need to be worried about the payload, because we will not be using this payload concept here in even the next videos or further videos. But for validation part, using the not null or not empty or not blank, these kind of validation annotation, the group attribute is most important. So I'm skipping this group concept here, because I need to explain you each and everything so that you does not confuse, and I will prove it to you that why the group attribute is required and how we can use that. So for now, just use this message here and just save it. And I need to save this class also. So save it, and I have used the @not null validation here. Now go to the controller, and inside the controller you can see @request body I have used. So for using the validation for that, or the null constraint or not empty, whatever the validation we are using in the request body, for that you need to use the @validated annotation to be used just before the request body. And validated annotation also contain the value part, which I will explain you later when we will discuss over the group concept. So just leave it as it is as for now. And also one more thing, now I want to let you know that validated is required just before the request body if you want to validate the request body. So after you need to remember this, and after this I will suggest you that you should choose either one way, means either to use the binding exception way to handle the response of validation, or you can go toward the dynamic or global validation exception, validation handling. So I am going to explain you here both. So let's start. So for now, for having a simple way, I am using the binding result a way for handling the validation. So you need to create a binding result, and the object for that. Now, and you need to remember, if you are using the binding result should be just after the validated part of the request body. Then only it will work. So let's now do what we need to do now, that if binding result dot has error, you need to check that if the binding result has an error, then whatever you want to do is returning the new response or whatever, the response util of type void. So skill DTO, or you can see here skill DTO dot generate validation response, that I have already created a method for handling the validation response in the response util. So what you need to do now, inside the generate validation response, you need to pass the message attribute or a message argument. So how you will get that message? For that you need to use a binding result dot get all errors dot get the zeroth index dot get default message, and then this. So what it is doing, what I did, I created a request body already. I used the @validated annotation to validate the request body using the concept of binding result. So you can see in a request body skill form, I have used the annotation @not null to handle the null value for that, is means a skill name. So now you can see @not null, inside that a message attribute was there in which I have provided the validation message key name. So and in skill controller, by using the @validated and adding the binding result as an argument to the controller, we have checked that if binding result has an error, then we need to create an object for our response util and using the method generate validation response, and in that I need to pass the default message for that. So the binding result dot get all errors dot get zeroth index and get default message. So this message what will give you the key that we are using in our skill form. That means a message attribute, or you can say a string constant like this skill dot name dot not dot null dot required. So you can check in our generate validation response. We are using the some way to handle it. So start. Let's check this API is or API validation is working or not. Then after I will explain you another thing and explain you each and everything inside the detail. So let's run the application. So our application has been started. Now I am passing the null value here. So what should be the expected output? That I should get the response from the REST API that the skill name is required and skill name cannot be empty. So let's run this and check if something is working or not. So you can see here that I got the response. I was passing the null value to the skill name form and the success was false. HTTP status was 400 and the message was skill name cannot be null. And you can see that skill name cannot be null was the message which I was handled using the IE18 standard here. And the skill form I have passed that message here, and using the skill controller inside the get default message I was getting the same message, and using the response util my handler it is converting those key to the message. So you will get the response clearly here that a skill name cannot be null. Okay, so thank you for watching this video guys. And if you are new to my channel, I request you kindly subscribe it and please share my videos to your friends and colleagues so that it can help them also. And please like it and don't forget to press the bell icon. In this video, we have learned how you can use the validation request or validate a request body in which how you can handle the not null constraint. In our next video, I will explain you similarly for the not empty and not blank. So not null, not empty, not blank are most of the common validation constraints which are used in the request body on the field of type string. And I will also explain how you can create your custom validation constraint so that you can handle it properly. So thank you for watching this video guys. Bye for now. Take care.